What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you. All right, y'all. So presently it is 2:53 p.m. in the Richmond, Virginia area. Hashtag 804. It is June 29th, 2024. And like I said in previous videos, we're basically about to close June 2024 and walk right into July 2024. Time continues to move by fast as usual. So no surprises there. Other than that, I hope everyone is doing okay, taking every day one day at a time and living life the best way you know how. As for me, I'm doing just fine as well. Had a good productive day at work today, so I'm always good when I'm in a productive mood. So other than that, y'all know me. I'm taking every day one day at a time and living life the best way I know how also. So what is today's video going to be about? Well, it's going to be another reaction video, another one courtesy of the Clay Kane Show and Mrs. Reese Colbert. So shout out to them, and also fair usage for the video, fair usage. So basically, the blatant pandering for the black vote continues, y'all. And Byron Donalds and all them other black conservatives, bless their hearts. I mean, if there's anything that they're trying to do right now, they're trying to get in the good graces of Donald Trump and pretty much stay there permanently, based on what we're seeing. But this blatant pandering for the black vote, it continues, and basically it gets more ridiculous each time out. Now, I would say this, today's video is not, ridiculous per se. It's teetering on that edge, but it's still some foolish elements here that we're going to talk about today. So with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared, and we're going to take a look at this one. Again, shout out to the Clay Kane Show and Mrs. Reese Colbert. Fair uses for the video. We're going to go ahead and go right into this one because I got a lot of thoughts here, just like they do.
Byron Donalds, Wesley Hunt.
Oh no, I already know where you're going with this.
They went to a barbershop in Atlanta, Georgia, Rocky's Barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
For this barbershop kind of discussion, I want to remind people that there was a barbershop tour that the Biden-Harris administration did like a year ago, a year or two ago. So this isn't anything new. Some people were having issues that the barbershop owner even allowed this to happen in Atlanta. And social media has receipts. In 2017, Rocky from Rocky's Barbershop called John Lewis a living legend in Black history and took a photo with him. 7 years later, Rocky is hosting a campaign event for Trump, the man who has repeatedly attacked the civil rights icon, John Lewis.
Yep. Pay attention to that, y'all. That is very important regarding this story. You see that? John Lewis, God rest his soul, he was a great man based on everything that I've seen and everything that I've read. So then years later, like he said, you're going to allow Trump to have some type of affiliation with your establishment, knowing his quote unquote history with Mr. John Lewis.
Right? So at the event, I watched some of it. The Rocky, the owner, says he's happy and grateful there with Byron Donalds, again, who represents Florida. Wesley Hunt, Texas. I didn't see any Black congressional folks from Georgia there, and there are a lot.
And that is true. There are a lot of representatives there. So you just have to wonder why the Black representatives in Georgia didn't show up. Now, either you can say that they don't know that this is happening, or they do know what's happening, but they got other pressing business. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the latter, because, not trying to downplay the barbershop or whatever, but, it is just a barbershop visit. So on that end, I could pretty much say, they probably was in a position where they're like, I got no time for this or something like that. That's what I would say here. So let's continue on.
There are
Wasn't that Ben Carson?
Oh, Ben Carson was there too, who isn't even an elected official.
But I
Right.
told
Where was
you.
Herschel Walker? Where are you, Herschel?
Herschel retired,
Anyway.
honey. Grand opening, grand closing.
He took them donations and hid it, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So then Trump calls in
Uh-oh.
via speakerphone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't play his voice on these airwaves because he's a loser, so I don't play his voice. But I want to read you what he said. He said, talking about his indictments and being a convicted felon and so on. But since this has happened, like the mugshot is the best. It just beat Elvis Presley. Mind you, wrong reference to make for older black folks, Elvis Presley, knowing how his history with black music. Anyway, it just beat Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra by a lot, by the way. Beat it by a lot. But the number one mugshot of all time, it's really an amazing thing. Since it happened, the support among the black community and the Hispanic community has skyrocketed.
He is dead wrong. He is dead wrong. And not only that, but this is nothing to celebrate. I mean, they celebrate the stupidest stuff, y'all. Let's keep it going.
It's been amazing. Really been amazing. It's actually been very nice to see.
What a maroon.
Yeah.
You know, I struggle with this, Reese, because I saw a little bit of video of the owner talking. I struggle with, and why did you even allow this to happen at your barbershop?
Exactly. Why? That's the question. Why? Why would you even allow it? Now, the guests are going to get more into that regarding why they let him in or why they let him have some type of affiliation. But I'm going to give my answer, as they continue on as well. But yeah, that is the key question here. Why? Why would you let him near or have any type of dealing with your establishment? In this case, your
But it's your
shop.
shop. You own it, whatever the case may be. But similar to
Right.
when Trump was at a black church in Michigan years ago, and the woman got on stage and stopped him from attacking Hillary Clinton. I just feel like because they're in your territory, this is a moment, just my humble opinion, where maybe you should have said, wait a minute, with all due respect, Mr. President, or at least say it on the record, even when he's off the phone. You're in my home. You're in my space. I don't like the idea that you think a mugshot has increased your support among black people.
Exactly. 100%. I agree with that 100%. But you see, they're not going to check Trump or anybody in his circle. Why? Not only are you not going to get whatever benefits, and they may be financial, not only are you not going to get the benefits of that exposure, if you will, but it's this whole thing where you can't check Trump and his supporters because they're Trump and his supporters. But let there have been a black man, who may not agree with the Republicans or whoever. Let there have been a black man saying that same thing about Elvis, or he would have checked him in a heartbeat, and y'all know it. So why is it okay for Trump to make a claim like that and not get any pushback? But if anybody else do it, you want to push back on them. Help me make this make sense. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if they look at it like, okay, what Trump said was a joke. And here we go again, y'all. What do I say on my channel constantly? Everything is a damn joke, right? I keep saying that. And I guarantee you that would be the line of thinking here. Oh, he was just playing. Again, everything is a damn joke. But if it comes from a black person, specifically a black man, you will push back on that. And you will push back on that in the heartbeat. But Trump gets a pass like he always do. It's crazy. And then here we go with this notion that black people, specifically black men, we gravitate towards criminality, and we don't. Now, let's be clear. There's a small segment who probably do gravitate towards criminality, but that does not represent the majority of black people. And I include myself in that, obviously. We do not sympathize with or gravitate towards criminal elements. We just don't. We don't do that. And why they continue to push that notion that, your mugshot is going to lead to an increase in Black support. It's just asinine and it's nonsense. I'm going to have more to say about this, y'all, but I just wanted to stop it right there. Let's keep it going.
I don't know how they approached him. I don't know how they pitched this to him. I don't know, but I thought it was really disappointing. And listen, you're sitting down with Byron Donalds and Wesley Hunt. Byron Donalds, Jim Crow Jr. I mean, the way that Jim Crow terrorized Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was held accountable for those comments.
And that's common American history. And now he was held accountable in terms of the pushback that he got online, but he's still doing what he's doing. So he wasn't really held accountable for the dumb stuff that he said.
There's another event they had in Fulton County where he said he does not believe in reparations.
That's another key point right there. Now, for all of my brothers and sisters who talk constantly about reparations and all that, did y'all hear that? Byron Donalds doesn't support reparations for Black people. Now, let me say this. If you haven't done so already, be sure to go back in my archives and check out the video that I did on reparations. I wish that would have got a little bit more traction than it did, but that video explains not only my support for reparations, but why I think it should be conditioned. You know, go back and check that out. But like I said, getting back to this point here, he don't support reparations. And I guarantee you, I know the reason why he doesn't support reparations for Black people specifically, because he probably don't think we either deserve it, or he probably think that we're going to blow the money on dumb stuff, you know. And I talk about why reparations should be conditioned and why we should be entitled to them in that video that I did. I want to set back in April or something like that. But that's a notable thing here, y'all. Just remember that Byron Donalds doesn't support reparations, and I guarantee you Trump and everybody else in that orbit, that circle, they don't support it either.
And there was a Black man in the audience who said, well, then you don't support Black people. So I struggle with this, Reese. These are the three people that show up. Ben Carson, who once said Obamacare is worse than slavery.
Yeah.
And I bet you some of the people who support that barbershop in Georgia more than likely have health care because of Obamacare.
Exactly.
So they aren't
100%.
political pundits, I get it. But to have these folks in your house who I would argue have made disrespectful comments about Black communities.
Right.
A little bit strange to me. What are your thoughts on this, Reese Colbert?
I get it. I definitely get it. You know, I wouldn't invite him to nothing I'm doing. Obviously, you know, I wouldn't have him if I owned the shop. I wouldn't have him in it. The optics of it is perpetuating a false narrative about the surge of Black support. So I think in terms of, if you are thinking in terms of community, then you would not have wanted to be associated with something like that.
Exactly.
However, I don't begrudge him too much for hosting this event, because I don't have a problem with allowing people to come into your space if accountability is there. You know, like you said, when the woman at the church said, we're not doing that here. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with that, because it is a campaign cycle. I think that whether or not you're going to get the Black vote or not, you still need to come talk to us. You still need to make your case to us. But I think in terms of just a photo op, it's not good. You know, if you want to have somebody, if you want to open your space up to somebody, at least try to make it an exchange, one where there's accountability for the people that are presenting, there's accountability for the words that are being stated, and making sure that those words are truthful, and they aren't racist, anti-Black. So I do think that there is a way to do it that is not like a betrayal of sorts, not, you know, buck dancing and all that stuff. I don't think he accomplished that, but I don't innately have a problem with the idea of, okay, you can come to the restaurant, you can talk to the people, and they can hear you out and you can hear them out. And then what happens from that happens from that. I'm not going to really focus so much on him, the barber. I mean, Reggie, you said Reggie?
Rocky.
Rocky. I'm not going to focus so much on Rocky, because he's an individual. He can kind of do what he wants. I just don't think that that's helpful, but he doesn't have to be helpful, but own it as well, stand in it and own it and be like, well, they pay me money. Buy you pay me money, you can come have an event here too. Like own that, or if you really wanted to do something better, then you could have maybe set it up a little bit better. But this was just a photo op. It was a photo op where once again, Trump has said some racist, stupid ass shit and made headlines. So you didn't even really accomplish what you was trying to accomplish, aside from the optics of having a bunch of Black men who, to your point, are either elected or prior elected officials or prior appointed officials. This wasn't like an average Joe Schmo barbershop full of Black men. These men are all tied to Trump in some way in terms of their political fortunes. And so they have every incentive to be there. So when you actually looked at it, it's like, this ain't no Black men for Trump event. This is these people are trying to be vice president. And so they all sitting up there trying to make it seem like there's this surge of Black support for Trump, and it's not. So, I mean, I get it. I get the criticism. I'm not saying Rocky is immune to it. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hate on a Black man. Hopefully he got some coin. If he did it for free, then that was stupid as fuck on his part. But if he got a little bit of coin, maybe a couple thousand to shut his barbershop for a couple hours, I ain't too mad at him.
And it probably was a financial benefit here. I keep it real in that regard. Who knows? So if that was his reasoning for doing it, okay, rock on, hey, business, I get it. But if that wasn't it, then you have to question, okay, why was it done in the first place? But adding on to what she said, yeah, it probably was a financial incentive there. It couldn't have been anything else. Let's keep it moving.
Yeah, I struggle with it. I struggle because
I do too.
I mean, did you know that he's going to call? I mean, via speakerphone. I don't know. I just think if he's going to be in your space, he's going to be in your space. He's going to be in your home, and maybe he's not aware of the record. I don't know. And he said he had owned this barbershop since 2008. He said, I've seen the ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
So you got this barbershop, you managed to land this amazing business. Yeah, during the Obama administration. So, I just think that it's important for us to have discretion of who comes into our communities. And I know this is different, but another example, when Candace Owens goes to the Breakfast Club and she's not being held accountable,
right.
They're coming to you. They're coming to you. They're coming in your space. Yeah. When I have Democrats on this show who say something wrong, I hold them accountable.
Right.
I held Josh Stein accountable, who to me made ridiculous comments about Ronnie Long, who was wrongfully convicted in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I will hold you accountable. I get that he doesn't. I get this is a barbershop, but I don't know. I just wonder if we're thinking about community and we're thinking about Atlanta, Georgia, and the people who are there.
Well, I'll say this. Was the owners thinking about the community? I mean, you never know. I'm going to go out on the limb and say, no, they weren't thinking about the community. They were only thinking about a few things, and that's themselves and their business. That's it. So the community, that's like, what? At the bottom of the list, if you will. So no, I don't think this was a community effort. This was what was best for that man's business and what was best for him on the financial end. That's my take. I could be wrong, but that's my thinking right now.
It just made me wonder, was this a good thing to do? And even if you got money out of it, was it worth it? I don't know if I don't even know if they can pay them. I'm not really sure. But it's
I'm sure they could, yeah. They paid,
are they able
rental.
To pay rental? Okay, that could be different. Rental. And did you know that the agreement would be call in via speakerphone? And do you know the record of the people who are in front of you? I don't know. I do feel like the barbershop is an institution the Black community, Reese. Yeah. I grew up in the barbershop.
That's true.
It is an institution.
Yep. It is.
I agree.
I have concerns, but I hear you. I mean,
no, but I think that's why I think it's fair to say, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I think that that's fair game. I don't have a problem with that notion. I have more of a problem when it's strictly a photo op, when it's strictly an ability, the potential to just spew propaganda. I have more of a problem with that. So I don't know what he thought it was going to be, if he thought it would be more of an exchange, or if he knew it was just strictly going to be like a Trump rally of sorts at the barbershop. But I think that it's good to have these conversations in the barbershop, because the same way that we think, oh, don't have the Republicans come, there are people who might be like, don't have the Democrats come. You know what I'm saying? Democrats aren't always super welcome in the barbershop. There's a lot of anti-democratic sentiment in barbershops too. So that's why I'm saying I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily go, rag on him over Trump, because there'd be somebody who would rag on him over if he had Biden. I think that really, if you have the ability to have an audience with people, what do you do with that audience? Do you hold them accountable? Do you have an exchange, or do you just let them spew propaganda? This was a propaganda photo op, and I don't think that was helpful, but I'm still not really down on Rocky himself.
Right. No, I get it. I just have questions.
Yeah.
And also, this is a man who's a stone cold racist.
Yeah.
This is a man who's attacked black men like the Central Park Five.
Mm-hmm.
This is a man who is waging war on black folks who have any connection to DEI.
Now, see, here's the thing. Here's what I think the notion is, and I may have said this in a previous video. You see, when you tell us, those, whether we know or not, when you tell us that, Trump is a racist, he's done this, he's done that, he's made these comments, he's made those comments, he's come down on this person, that person, no matter how much we keep saying it, I guarantee you that the thought process with most people, specifically black men, I guarantee you the first thought is, well, he ain't talking about me. I guarantee you that's the immediate thought right there. So you don't care that he's saying this stuff about other people that look like you, saying these things about a group of people that look like you. You don't care about that. As long as what you're getting out of the ordeal is set, that's all that matters. Nothing else matters, right? I guarantee you that's probably the line of thinking, well, he ain't talking about me, and that's, I don't even know how to describe that, but I guarantee you that's the line of thinking that most black men, specifically those who lean conservative, I guarantee you that's the thought process right there. Well, he ain't talking about me. He didn't keep me from buying a house. He didn't, call me a certain name. I guarantee you that's the thinking. And just because he didn't say it to you personally, that still doesn't make it right, or still doesn't dismiss it like it doesn't mean anything. But hell, have no fear if Joe Biden says something like that, or if another Democrat, specifically a white one, says that, but I guarantee you these the same people that probably whose head exploded when Biden made that comment about if you don't know whether you're for me or Trump, then you're not black. When at the end of the day, you should have known what that comment meant. I wasn't insulted by that, as well as nobody else should have been insulted by that, because if you listen to that comment and how it sounded, you knew what it sounded like, but to just try to take it further and make it seem like it was something when it was meant in another way when it clearly wasn't, that was reaching as well. But like I said, he can get a pass, or he ain't talking about me, but then Biden or somebody else making a comment, or you'll be quick to do the outrage and the backlash then. Whatever, man.
Mm-hmm,
this is a man who the Heritage Foundation wants to fire 50,000 or more federal workers, and a lot of black folks are civil servants, they're federal workers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and you see that point, that's a good point as well, and that's been making the rounds too, regarding firing loads of people at these agencies only to put your sycophants in there, people who probably don't even have no experience in that agency or anywhere else in government. You want to put them in there as long as they're sufficiently loyal to you. How does that make sense? But then again, you will have some people coming in, well, I ain't no civil servant, he wouldn't fire me, so it wouldn't affect me. Like, get out of here with that line of thinking, man.
If you were so privileged and so blessed to have it, because this is a man who does not talk to black media. Trump will not talk to black media.
And there's a reason why he won't talk to black media. And the reason being, he don't want to be held to the fire. He don't want his proverbial feet held to the fire in an interview like that. He don't want to be held accountable or asked any tough questions or asked to account for the things that he said and the things that he's done throughout the years. He wouldn't do it. Now, I shouldn't even put this out there because it could possibly be an idea, but can you imagine the train wreck that an interview between Trump and Stephen A. Smith would be, oh Lord, that would be all kinds of train wrecks. But yeah, he's not going to do black media because he doesn't want to be verbally held accountable for the things that he's said and things that he's done over the years. It's quite simple.
At all. He will not talk to black media
and
at all. So I
away.
mean, I don't know. I struggle with it, but I hear you, and I just wonder what our responsibility is, especially if we're rooted in community, and what did we get out of it? What do you get in return?
Yeah.
And then it just shows you the ego of this man, that you are talking to a black barber. No talk about policy, right? No talk about policy.
Because he don't give a shit about policy. Excuse my French, y'all. He don't give one single solitary damn about anything policy.
None of that. And you bring up your mugshot, and it's done better than Elvis Presley's mugshot. Wow. I just, considering the barbershop that I know, I'm surprised nobody said, oh, excuse me?
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird.
Wow.
So it was a net I think it was a net negative on the whole week. So I was like, okay, thanks, Rocky. Made the president look like an asshole again, the ex-president, the convict, look like an asshole again. So, I mean, I get it. But that's why I said, if you're about community, everybody ain't for the community like that. Everybody, sometimes they don't.
I don't know if Rocky is or isn't. I don't
know if he is or isn't either.
Yeah.
I don't think it's indicative of somebody who's rooted in the community and trying to do what's best for the community. And the way that the event was held, maybe the event wasn't what he expected it to be. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But, I think that photo op is not rooted in helping the community.
But shout out to Rocky's Barbershop for being around since 2008. That
big.
Is a huge accomplishment. Being able to survive COVID and so on, and the way that Brian Kemp handled COVID.
Pushing 20 years. So yeah, that is an accomplishment. It really is. So shout out to them for that.
Barbershops were so impacted. That was the other thing I was thinking too, Reese. Barbers were so impacted by COVID. You can't, there's no mask. I mean, you got to pull off your mask. And, for us, it's the beard, it's the lineup. Like, it's so impacted. So shout out for him for surviving the ups and downs of our economy. And for any other people who allow Trump in their space, hold them accountable.
That's it. That's what you should do with your space.
Especially his record. His record against black communities.
All right, y'all. So again, shout out to the Clay Kane Show and shout out to Mrs. Reese Coper. Another good video. This is probably my third or fourth time reacting to something that they did together, because they make very good points, especially Mrs. Colbert. So again, shout out to them. I don't have any additional thoughts outside of everything that I said, but I am going to end it on this particular note. Now, I don't mean to throw any shade to the following people that I'm going to mention, especially to the ones that I support, the ones that I've been supporting for years. So, check this here, y'all. And I want to say this to the black conservatives, man or woman. And I want to say this to those who are still on the fence right now. Donald Trump can have dinner with Ice Cube and his son. He can make a cameo appearance on an episode of Power. He can promise additional pardons to people in Snoop Dogg's circle who may need them. He can do a skit on the next Lil Wayne album. Now, let's keep it real. Who's checking for a new Lil Wayne album in 2028? Excuse me, 2024. He can visit a black-owned spot in each battleground state. And when I say black-owned spot, I'm talking about a black-owned restaurant. He can invite Kanye West to Mar-a-Lago so he can announce plans for College Dropout 2, which would then turn out to be, I don't know, a triple album or something like that. And I just made that up, y'all. I just made that up. Sexy Red can drop it low in Trump Tower in a red, white, and blue skirt. None of that matters. None of that is going to take the black support for Trump from the low mid-teens all the way up to 70 or 80%. It's just not going to work. All that stuff and then some is not going to turn around a good portion of the black community and say, we riding with Trump. It's not going to work. It's not going to work in this lifetime. It's not going to work in any other lifetime. And the sooner that people will recognize and see that, we'll be better off for it. I'm done. If you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments if you're feeling the content. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. And remember, the power of the mind is valuable, and pandering, blatant pandering, does not help anyone. It only makes you look ridiculous. Take care, y'all.